So yes, walking you through the process. Let's say you got your keys in hand, you've signed, you are good to go. Now it's time, it's go time. I say from the moment that you get your keys, the clock is ticking. You need to, like, honestly, you should have already had some furniture in your cart on Amazon and Walmart ready to hit, like, okay, order. Because again, you're working against a time clock, so that essentially you never want the first payment to come out of your account. You never want that first rent payment to like be something, at least not all of it, to be something that you are putting up solely by yourself. So you want people in that unit as quickly as possible so that it can begin paying for itself. That is the primary piece. So that is why I say, like, the moment you have those keys, is really shopping and decor time. Those are the main things. I would say make sure that you double check your lease, ensure that it says, maybe even an addendum has been added. Look up the word addendum. An addendum has been added stating that you are able to actually list these on third-party marketing platforms. You are able to short-term rent this unit. Something along that language is going to help you. And I would even say, like, right now, like, I'm going through a litigation with a management company that I had Airbnb units at and all of that. And it's because, again, I had corporate leases, but they doing some shady stuff. So just understand that, like, everybody is really out for themselves in all of this. So again, you want to quickly get in there, get the furniture in there and all of that. And then I would also say getting cleaners. You want at least 3 backup cleaners when starting out. Like, if you got good cleaners and you saying that, okay, I'm gonna have my auntie or my mama doing it, they reliable, they ain't got nothing else going on, okay, fine, it's cool. But have at least 3 backup cleaners. That is something that is a must. From that point, from that point, I would just say start setting up your listing. Like, you need photos. You're gonna need professional photos. That is usually what I recommend. I really feel like since the saturation really came into the market for specifically Airbnb and just short-term rentals in general, the time is now gone of people just, okay, let me just take a picture on my iPhone and I'm gonna just put it up there and I don't really care. Airbnb definitely used to be that kind of platform where it's just like, hey, I got an extra room, you take a quick picture, it's gonna get booked, because that's just how it was. But now there are so many people playing within this space. So you really have to make sure that, like, how are you providing an experience? Who are you catering to? How are you making this unique? How are you making your listing stand out? So you want to start getting those listing details in order. And when I say listing details, this is also thinking about, like, all right, now that I have the keys to the unit, and I am inside of the unit, I'm sitting in here, I can sit on the floor, I can really, I can be here at night, I can hear it. You need to think about who the best person is to be in there. Like, what do I need to put in there for me to provide them with the best experience? And then who is the best person? Because it's easy for me to say, like, okay, I am, I don't know, 5 minutes from Emory University Hospital. That's what a lot of people like to say, for instance, here in Atlanta. I'm 5 minutes from Emory University Hospital. Well, Emory University Hospital, yeah, it's great. And you're like, okay, well, cool, I'm targeting travel nurses. You have to think about that experience, right? Emory University is downtown, the hospital, I think. But either way, I'm thinking about one that's downtown. Either way, let's say that it's downtown. And let's say that you're right along a main busy street. And travel nurses, most times, not all the time, but most times they're working night shift. If you are downtown along a busy street, or they're not working night shift, but they're working the morning shift and they need their nights clear and, quiet, you're downtown, it's loud, that even though your location is fit for, let's say, a travel nurse, that isn't necessarily the best target or audience that you should do if you know that it's going to be loud, you're right next to some bars, like, and your guests are going to be complaining because they're not the ones that are, hey, they're going out when it's nighttime. They're coming in and they're going to sleep because they got to go to work tomorrow. So those are just things that you really have to think about.
Okay. Someone had a question. They said, how do you build business credit to get started with Airbnb? So building business credit is just where you're signing up for different vendor accounts. So they have some things called net 30, net 90s and all that. Net 30 is basically you get it and then you have to pay it within 30 days. And business credit is dependent upon your payment history. So there's one place called Uline. What I did personally, I bought masks from them. I paid it. You get something called a paydex score. With your personal credit, obviously, you have your FICO score, Vantage 3.0 if you're looking at Credit Karma. It's paydex score when it comes to business credit. But you're basically just signing up for different vendor accounts and you go in different tiers. Anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, so there are multiple scores. The same way that you have multiple scores with your own personal credit, there's multiple scores with your business credit as well. And with that, there are different tiers in terms of how you are able to sign up. So when you're getting started, and usually when you're just building that business credit, you want to sign up for those tier 1 accounts. So Michael was correct in that it's like, okay, they have their net 30, net 90, all of that. But then as you move through the tiers, they will also offer you those revolving utilization cards and all of that, like things that pretty much they'll swipe just like a credit card that you have too. So you are able to move through those tiers, and it's a lot easier for you to do that if you do have good personal credit, because then you are able to add yourself as a personal guarantor.
Yep. Someone said, how many units have you built up to so far, and was it hard?
8, and I would say it wasn't hard to build up to that point, but it was definitely hard to maintain. Trying to think about a team, trying to think about operations and all of that. So at my peak of all of this, I had 8 units. I've actually scaled back now, and I'm down to 4.
Make sure y'all go listen to our podcast interview. If you go to catacticsllc.com, you can click on CAP Podcast, or go to my YouTube. Go to my profile, click link in my bio, go to YouTube. The entire interview is going to be there. So make sure y'all tap into that. We had over an hour over there. We're only here for like 30 minutes. So obviously, tap in for more information. Someone said, do you use other platforms like VRBO? Okay, that person came in late, apparently.
Yes, I do. Furnish Finder, Peer Space is another one. I've used Booking.com, and I've used VRBO.
Okay, and then how many VAs do you have now?
1.
You got 1 VA. Okay.
Depends on the business that you're asking. I said depends on the business you're asking for, but 1 for rentals, yes.
Okay, got you. Any other questions? We're gonna be wrapping up probably in the next few minutes or so. Any other questions, drop them down below. Precious has a free training for y'all to tap into. If y'all didn't know, you can get started with your Airbnb journey. She also has for those of y'all that's like serious investors, she has a whole mentorship program, and she could talk more about it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So I have a number of options available. If y'all are interested, the best thing that you can do is just go to my profile and just go through all of my content first. There's a ton of free content. And honestly, I've had people, like I had a girl hit me and she's made over like $70,000 just from my free content. So it's just like there's a lot there in terms of the free content. You can sign up for the official free training. That is going to give you the 3 things that you need to understand and know before hopping into the short-term rental industry. And then there's a number of classes and webinars and offers and all of that you can take advantage of in the link in my bio.
All right,
but yes, and then if you are, the last thing I will say is that when I say that I've done Airbnb all of the ways that you can do Airbnb, and when I say I have built a structure, I built a tiny house. So I actually rent a tiny house via short-term rental as well, and that was amazing. But you can find, if you are interested in anything related to tiny homes, you can find the information, and even furthermore, you can watch the build process and everything that we went through to get up to renting the tiny house that's in my backyard of my investment property. You can find that information on YouTube. It's a very popular docuseries called Going Tiny. The link is in my bio.
It got like what, 300,000 views or something, or more than that? Okay, yeah, so she going crazy. So make sure y'all definitely tap into that. Someone asked a question. They say you find a VA on Fiverr, or how'd you find your VAs?
No, I found my VA actually from Airbnb money. So I like it when people, like, they're already tapped into all of my content. They watch all of my stuff, and then they reach out and they're like, hey, do you need any help? I'm wanting to get started in this business, but I really want to start understanding the business. Yeah, those are my favorite ones. But you can get them from Fiverr too. I've gotten a VA from Fiverr before.
Okay. So I got a question as well. What would you say? I don't know if this really applies to Airbnb, but like, what are your go-to resources that you think everybody that's doing Airbnb should have? Does that apply? Not really.
Not really. I would say Bloomberg. Like, watch the news, read news articles. Like, really, like, now is the time where, especially those within the short-term rental market, you need to be watching the news, and you need to be seeing how our economy is consistently changing on a day-to-day basis. Like, all of it is affecting real estate. So that would be my number one recommendation, is to watch the news. Actually look at you know, what's happening in this industry, within the real estate industry in general. And then that's going to give you everything you need to know in terms of how you need to pivot and move forward.
Okay, so you do Airbnb. Are there any, I know you do like real estate in general. Anything branching outside of that?
Outside of short-term rentals,
Yeah.
outside of accessory dwelling units, I do short-term rentals and accessory dwelling units. I don't sell houses.
What's that? What's accessory dwelling units?
Tiny homes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Any last minute questions? While we got Precious in the building, let me know.
If y'all have any questions, just shoot me a DM. This has been swell. This has been amazing. Thank you, everyone who has been engaged in the chat. I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you for bringing me on. And if you do check out the podcast episode, let me know what you think. Just shoot me a DM.
Ain't no if. When you check out the podcast episode, don't disrespect our time. Go tap into the episode. Go to my bio, and you'll be able to tap into the episode. It's on my YouTube. The entire 1 hour, 10 minutes that we did, it's on my YouTube video. If you want to do audio, we got the Cap podcast. It's also my bio as well. So tap in and, you know, get the information, get the sauce. If you've been one of those people that's been following Precious for such a long minute and you haven't started, let this be the sign to start. Be like, damn, you know, Michael, he went live with her. It's my time to, you know, finally shine and all that. So, you know, tap in or get left behind. You feel me? And thank me later when you're making all that money. So, yeah. Any last things for you, Precious?
No last things. Thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed one.